All right, or rather homework from yesterday, and I just want to walk through each problem. We'll do it in class as well for those of you who have questions, but for those who have missed class or still need help, this will go through it slower than we can do it in class. So again, we're just trying to find the equations of a parabola from some given information. In this case, in problem 1, they tell us a point that it goes through, and they tell us the vertex. When they tell you the vertex of a parabola, you immediately want to pull up vertex form, because the vertex has the ordered pair h, k. Its x value is h, its y value is k, and so we know what h and k are very, very quickly because they told us. So it's just a direct substitution. X minus, what's h? In this case, it's 3. And what is k? In this case, it is 2. So that's the equation of our parabola, except we do not know the value of a. If I knew a, I would know if it opens up or opens down, if it's narrow, if it's wide. I know where it starts. And well, how do I figure out what that direction is and what that factor is out front? Well, I use this other piece of information. This parabola has to go through 13, 9, so that just means that when y is 9, the y value up here, the x value has got to be 13. So I just substitute in the x's, or the x value, and the y value. So 13 goes in for x, and the 9 goes in for y. And this gives me this new equation with only one unknown, the a value, which is what I am trying to find. Let's go ahead and do the math now. 13 minus 3 is 10. Okay, so I've simplified it. I can square that 10, so that's 100 times a, or a times 100. And now to solve, I have to undo addition first, and then undo this multiplication with division to get the a alone. This tells me a is 7 over 100, or 7 hundredths, 0.07. Either one of these is fine to use. The point is, now in this equation that I already had calculated everything for except for the a value, I now know a. A is 0.07, x minus 3 quantity squared plus 2. That is the equation for the parabola with a vertex of 3, 2, and it will also go through the point 13, 9. Let's take a look at problem number 2. Same idea. They tell us a point it passes through, and they also tell us the vertex, so we grab that vertex form. So as long as you start to follow the patterns we're using, oh, you give me vertex, I will use vertex form. I know h, I know k, because that's the vertex. And so the problem almost solves itself at the very beginning. Be careful here, we get double negatives. And k is positive 9. And so that double negative x minus negative 5 becomes positive. So there we go. That is the equation for this parabola, except for we don't know the value of a. So let's go find it. They tell us in x, y that this parabola goes through. So we use that. And where there's a y, we put negative 15 equals a, times where there's an x, we put negative 5. This is going to come out nicely. We can see in this case, as we start to simplify it, working inside the parentheses, negative 5 plus 5 becomes 0. Sorry, something was going wrong. I knew it right away. Back up. It's not x, it's not -5. X is -7. There we go. That's going to work out nicer. And so we just keep working it down. We work inside the parentheses. It's -2 squared. We square our -2, which is 4. We subtract our 9 to get that a term alone. So -24 equals 4a. Divide by 4, and it looks like a is equal to -6. And now that we know a, we just come back up to this equation that we almost had perfect, except for we didn't know the a value, but now we do. -6 times x plus 5 quantity squared plus 9, and that is the equation of the parabola, with a vertex of -5, 9, and it will pass through the point -7, -15. We'll continue here. Now we switch gears a little bit. They gave us x-intercepts instead of the vertex. They still gave us an extra point, but these are x-intercepts. And as soon as you see that, you want to pull up this x-intercept form of parabolas. X minus p, x minus q, p and q are x-intercepts. All right, so we just have to do direct substitution again. Y equals a, x minus, what's my first x-intercept? Well, it is 12. And x minus, what's my second x-intercept? It is -6. Note that double negative again, so I'm going to do one more step right here just to clean it up. And again, we're almost done. The only thing we have to know now is what the heck is a. How do we find a? We grab this other piece of information they've provided us, and it says, hey, when x is 14, y is 4. All right, so I'm going to make y 4, and I'm going to make the x 14, because that has to be true, otherwise the equation would not go through that point. Again, x is 14. So again, just direct substitution. The rest is just cleanup work. All right, we could distribute into this big distributing process, but don't do that. Simplify inside the parentheses first. 14 minus 12 and 14 plus 6. A little multiplication. 2 times 20 is 40. And then we'll divide by 40. So when we divide by 40, a equals 4 over 40. Or a is equal to 1/10. And so now in this equation that we started with at the very beginning, I should use this one, the simplified one, where I've gotten rid of the double negatives, where we knew everything except for the a value. We now know the a value is 1/10. And the equation for this parabola is y equals 1/10 of x minus 12, x plus 6. X-intercepts are going to be at 12 and -6. And this thing opens upward, and it's going to be very wide because that's a very small fraction. And our last one. Same idea to give us the x-intercepts. So as soon as you see that, you just write down y equals a times x minus p, x minus q. You replace p and q with the x-intercepts. Get a 9 for one of them. And we have a 1 for the other. So we are finished except for the fact that we don't know a, so now we go hunt down a. How do we find a? We use the ordered pair they gave us, 0, -18. So substitute a -18 in for y, a 0 in for x, clean it up. It's negative 9, negative 1, negative 18 equals negative 9 times negative 1 is 9a. Divide by 9. Looks like a is negative 2. And now we just go back to this equation we have up here, where we knew everything except for the a value. Y equals negative 2 x minus 9 times x minus 1. And that is our final solution. We know the x-intercepts are at 9 and 1. This one's going to open upside down, and it's going to be pretty narrow because of that 2 out front. And we are done. Hope this helps. Please use it to complete your assignment if you have not.